Learning Objective 2 from section A6.2 is to graph linear equations using multiple methods, such as plotting points or finding x and y intercepts. Here's an equation that we're going to use. We'd like to graph 1.3x minus y equals 2.5. Plotting points and finding x and y intercepts are actually very similar. In both cases, we want to create a little table so that we can find points that fall on the line. We'll choose a value for x. Let's say we want x to be 1. We'll plug 1 in for x into the equation. So 1.3 times 1 minus y equals 2.5. Now I'm going to solve for y to find the y coordinate of this point that will be a solution to the equation. So 1.3 minus y equals 2.5. I'll subtract 1.3 from both sides. I get negative y equals 1.2. Then I'll multiply both sides by negative 1. And that gives me positive y equals negative 1.2. So when x equals 1, y equals negative 1.2. Let's plot that on our coordinate system. I move from the origin to the right 1 and down 1.2, and I'm about right here. There's my first solution to the equation. Next, we're going to try another value for x. A good idea often is to use x equals 0. This will find the y-intercept for us. The y-intercept is the point where the line crosses the y-axis. The y-axis is where x equals 0. So again, we'll plug in our value for x, which is 0 now, into the equation for x and solve for y. So 1.3 times 0 is just 0. I have negative y equals 2.5. I'll multiply both sides by negative 1, and I get y equals negative 2.5. So when x equals 0, y equals negative 2.5. And that point, starting at the origin, I move 0 units to the right and down 2.5. There's my point on the coordinate system. And now we're going to find a third point. You can graph a line with just 2 points, but it's always a good idea to find a third point so that you can verify that you didn't do anything wrong. If the 3 points form a triangle, something is wrong. They should all fall on the same line. Okay, so let's use y equals 0 now. This is going to find the x-intercept. The x-intercept is where the line crosses the x-axis, and that happens when y equals 0. So now I'm going to plug into my equation 0 for y. So 1.3x minus 0 equals 2.5. And then I'll divide both sides by 1.3. And I get x equals, I'll do this in GeoGebra, 2.5 divided by 1.3 equals 1.923. Okay, so when y equals 0, x equals 1.923. So I'm going to go to the right, 1.923 up 0, that's about right here. Here is the equation of, here is the graph of my line. Connect those points. And that's the graph of the line. Now, when you're plotting points, you don't have to pick x equals 0 and y equals 0. You can pick any 3 values for either x or y and plot those points. If you're finding the graph using x and y intercepts, then you would set x equals 0 to find the y-intercept and y equals 0 to find the x-intercept. In any case, it's a good idea to find 3 points and then connect them to draw the line that you are trying to graph.